The rain came down in relentless sheets, turning the sidewalks of Lexington Avenue into a shimmering river of reflection. Serena Carter was wiping down the counter of the Lexington diner, her arms aching after a 12-hour shift. Her dark brown skin glistened with sweat, but her warm eyes never lost their light. That's when she saw him. Outside, just under the flickering neon sign, a frail boy in a battered wheelchair sat huddled beneath a soaked blanket. His hair clung to his forehead, his coat too thin for the chill in the air. Serena's heart clenched. Without a second thought, she set down her rag, pushed open the door, and stepped into the rain. "Hey, sweetie," she said gently, crouching beside him. "What are you doing out here all alone?" The boy flinched, then looked up. Blue eyes, wide and searching. "I'm waiting for my dad," he murmured. Serena looked down the empty street. "Well, it's too cold for you to be out here. Come on in, I've got something warm for you." He hesitated, then nodded. Serena wheeled him into the diner, the warmth washing over them like a hug. She draped a towel over his shoulders and crouched again. "I'm Serena. What's your name, sweetheart?" "Daniel." "Nice to meet you, Daniel. Are you hungry?" He nodded. Serena moved to the kitchen, slicing sourdough, grilling cheese, and pouring tomato soup, the comfort meal her grandmother used to make. She placed the plate before him and tucked a napkin into his lap. "This one's on me." Daniel took a bite. His eyes widened. "This is the best thing I've ever had." Serena chuckled. She didn't see the black Bentley parked across the street. Inside it sat Raymond Holt, CEO of Holt Dynamics, and Daniel's father. He had told Daniel to wait while he took a business call. Now he watched, unreadable, as Serena fed his son with kindness. He made a call. "Nora, get to Lexington Diner. No suits, no heels. Find out everything about the woman who just fed my son." Back inside, Daniel was laughing, tomato soup on his chin. Serena wiped it gently. Then the door opened. A blonde woman in jeans and a hoodie stepped inside. Her eyes locked onto Daniel. "Time to go, champ," she said. Daniel frowned. "But I haven't finished my milk." "You can take it with you." Serena folded her arms. "You his aunt?" The woman smiled too quickly. "Yeah." Serena turned to Daniel. "That true, baby?" He hesitated. Then, softly, "She's here for my dad." Serena didn't stop them, but her gut twisted. She handed Daniel a cookie. "For the road." He grinned. "Thanks, Serena. You're the best." Outside, Nora wheeled Daniel to the Bentley. Raymond stepped out. "She's sharp," Nora said. "Almost called me out." Raymond nodded. "Get everything on her. Tonight." That night, Serena went home, soaked and uneasy. Something about that woman didn't sit right. Her instincts screamed. Then, a knock at her door. A tall man in a sleek black coat. "Raymond." "What do you want?" she asked. "To talk." She cracked the door. "You know my son. I watched you. I don't believe in charity, but I believe in paying debts." He placed an envelope on her table. "What is this?" "A job offer. 6 figures. Holt Dynamics." She scoffed. "You think I want charity?" "No. I think you want a chance." Serena stared at the envelope. Her pride battled her reality. Then she picked it up. "I'll think about it." She said yes. Day one at Holt Dynamics was a different world. She was underestimated, side-eyed, but she stood tall. Raymond pushed her hard. No small talk. No easy days. Then came the meeting with Orion Group. They wanted to cut labor costs by offshoring jobs. Serena spoke up. Defended the workers. She laid out market projections, PR fallout, long-term risk. She didn't blink. The board listened. Raymond backed her. She won. But power brings enemies. Weeks later, a confidential report leaked to the press, under Serena's name. She was framed. Raymond didn't believe it. But the board did. With Nora's help, they traced the leak to Eric Calloway, a senior executive. Serena didn't wait for rescue. She stormed into the boardroom with evidence. "You picked the wrong scapegoat," she said. Calloway was fired. Her name cleared. 2 weeks later, Serena stood beside Raymond at Daniel's graduation. "Told you I'd make it," Daniel beamed. Serena ruffled his hair. "Never doubted you." Years later, she sat in her own office, VP of Corporate Strategy. Her name on the door. Her foundation serving thousands. Because kindness isn't weakness. It's a revolution. 6 months had passed since Serena's public takedown of Langford and the board's reckoning. Under her leadership, Holt Dynamics had not only recovered, it had surged. Investor confidence returned. The media painted her as the face of modern leadership. But with influence came scrutiny. And with power came a different kind of danger. One crisp morning, Serena arrived at the office to find her assistant pale and shaken. "You need to see this," he said, handing her a plain white envelope. Inside was a photo. Daniel. Walking. Serena blinked. The picture was grainy, but unmistakable. Daniel, who'd been in a wheelchair since childhood, was on his feet, mid-step, his expression blank. A second photo. Daniel again, this time surrounded by men in tactical gear. Serena's hands trembled. What the hell was this? She stormed into Raymond's office without knocking. He looked up from his desk, frown already forming. "What is this, Raymond?" He took the photos. His face went unreadable. "Where did you get these?" "They were left anonymously." "On my desk." Raymond's eyes darkened. "We need to talk." And then, he told her. About Daniel. About the classified government program that had once recruited him. About experimental treatments, cybernetic rehab, and memory suppression. About why Daniel's wheelchair had always been more than it appeared. Serena stared at him like she didn't know him at all. "You used your son as a lab subject?" "I saved his life," Raymond snapped. "You controlled it," Serena countered. "And now he's what, property?" Raymond closed his eyes. He wasn't supposed to remember. But someone had made sure he did. Nora called moments later. "Serena, Daniel's missing. He didn't show up to his internship. The guards say he never left the building." But he had. The security logs had been wiped. Only one exit recorded. Back door. 6:41 a.m. They played the footage. Serena watched Daniel wheel himself out. Then, a minute later, she saw it. He stood. Quietly. With full control. And walked into the morning fog. Raymond clenched his jaw. "He's going back." "Back where?" "The compound." Serena stepped in front of him. "Then we're going after him." Raymond hesitated. "You don't know what you're asking." "He's not just your son anymore," Serena said. "He's my family too." 3 hours later, they were on a private jet. Serena, Raymond, and Nora. Destination, a black site facility buried deep in the forests of Northern Virginia. They didn't expect what they found. The compound was burned out. Walls scorched. Labs gutted. Files missing. Staff gone. Except one. A woman in a lab coat, bloodied but alive. Serena knelt beside her. "What happened?" "He came back," the woman whispered. "But he wasn't alone." Nora stiffened. "What does that mean?" The scientist's eyes rolled back. "They activated Protocol 9. Raymond went still. Serena grabbed his arm. "Tell me that's not what I think it is." Protocol 9 is a failsafe, Raymond said slowly. It wipes clean everything, and everyone. So why is she still alive? Serena asked. The woman coughed. Because he stopped it. Serena stared at her. Daniel stopped it? He remembered, the woman rasped. He protected the ones who protected him. And then he ran. They were too late. Again. But now they knew, Daniel wasn't running from something. He was running toward something. His memory. His purpose. Serena stood over the ashes of the compound. A storm was rolling in, wind whipping the trees. We have to find him, she said. Raymond looked at her. For once, his confidence cracked. If Daniel remembers everything, he's the most valuable and the most dangerous person alive. Serena turned toward the horizon. Then let's hope he remembers who fed him first. The search for Daniel stretched into weeks. Every lead grew colder. Every trace ended in silence. Serena found herself awake most nights, staring out her apartment window, wondering where he was, what he remembered, and what he planned to do next. Raymond, for all his wealth and reach, was helpless. Holt Dynamics could spin the press, reroute satellites, and bribe officials, but none of it brought Daniel home. Then, on a quiet Tuesday morning, Serena received a package. No return address. Inside, a flash drive and a handwritten note. You saw me. That's why I trust you. Her hands shook as she plugged the drive into her secure terminal. Footage loaded. Daniel, older, stronger, standing in a vast underground bunker. His voice calm, direct, as if he were narrating his own memoir. Around him were others. Young people. Quiet. Alert. Some with wheelchairs, others with prosthetics, all moving with silent precision. We're not weapons, he said. We were survivors. Until they made us soldiers. Now we're taking that back. Serena's breath caught in her throat. The feed cut to grainy surveillance clips, labs abandoned, hard drives stolen, confidential documents exposed. Each one linked to the remnants of the program that once owned Daniel's body, and nearly erased his mind. At the end of the video, Daniel stepped forward. There's more of us. We're not hiding. We're building. If you want the truth, come find me. Bring no one else. The screen went black. Serena leaned back, heart racing. She didn't call Raymond. Not yet. Instead, she sent a message using the channel Daniel had embedded in the drive. Where? She typed. A single reply came seconds later. Neon Junction. Midnight. Neon Junction was a condemned metro station beneath the old city, forgotten by transit, swallowed by time. Serena arrived alone, dressed in dark clothes, her heartbeat thunderous in the quiet tunnel. He was there, waiting. Leaner. Harder. Wiser. But his eyes still held the same light she remembered from the diner. Hey, he said. Hey, she replied, softly. For a long moment, neither moved. Then Daniel said, I'm not running anymore. I'm rebuilding what they tried to destroy. And what is that? He looked around at the flickering lights. A life with choices. For all of us. She studied him. You're still you. I can see it. He smiled faintly. Because of you. You were the first person who didn't look through me. Serena stepped closer. I want to help. He nodded. Then tell my father, if he wants redemption, he has to earn it. The old way doesn't work anymore. Serena inhaled deeply. And if he won't change? Daniel's gaze hardened. Then he becomes part of the system we dismantle. She didn't argue. She just placed a small device in his palm, a secure drive. Company secrets, she said. All the leverage you'll need. Daniel took it and held her hand for a moment longer than necessary. I won't forget this, he whispered. Neither will I. Then he turned and vanished into the tunnels. Serena stood alone in the dark, a quiet resolve blooming in her chest. Change was coming. And it had started with a grilled cheese sandwich. Raymond stood in the boardroom, a man used to control, now surrounded by uncertainty. The news of Daniel's reappearance, and the movement he had started, had reached the ears of governments, rival corporations, even the press. Whispers turned to headlines. And the headlines didn't say Holt Dynamics was leading change, they said they were being left behind. "We have to respond," one board member said. "If we don't, the narrative becomes theirs." Raymond remained silent. The room waited. Then, Serena walked in. "You don't respond by spinning stories," she said. "You respond by listening. By owning what we did, and what we failed to do." She placed a folder on the table. Inside, a roadmap. A complete restructuring proposal. Ethical reforms. Whistleblower protections. Equity partnerships. All inspired by Daniel's demands. Raymond opened the folder slowly. "He gave you this?" "He gave me the choice," Serena replied. "To use what I know to protect people or protect power." The board was skeptical. Serena didn't flinch. "Daniel's movement is real. You can fight it, or we can join it. But make no mistake, it's not going away." Raymond looked at her for a long moment. Then he turned to the board. "We follow her plan. Every step." It passed. Narrowly. Weeks later, Serena stood in the newly renovated Holt Dynamics Innovation Wing. At its center, the Carter Initiative, an open-access lab for youth innovators from underprivileged backgrounds. Daniel appeared at the opening ceremony, cloaked in a black hoodie, face half-shadowed. Serena met him outside. "I didn't think you'd come. Had to see it for myself." "Is it enough?" she asked. Daniel considered. "It's a start." He turned to go, but paused. "You ever think about the diner?" Serena smiled. "Every day." He nodded. "Me too." And then he disappeared into the crowd. Sometimes, the biggest revolutions begin with the smallest acts. And the people who change the world don't start with power. They start with purpose. Months passed, and the world kept changing, subtly, but undeniably. The Carter Initiative had become a symbol of more than just innovation. It was a rallying cry, a proof of concept, that power could shift hands, that the right people, those driven by empathy, not ego, could lead lasting change. And still, Serena wasn't satisfied. Because Daniel was still out there. He had gone dark again, not out of fear, but purpose. He sent encrypted updates every few weeks, short, cryptic messages Serena could barely decipher. Places. Names. Actions. She began to realize, he wasn't just dismantling the remnants of the program. He was recruiting. Organizing. Teaching. And someone had taken notice. One evening, Serena walked out of a panel at Columbia University when a man in a dark suit stepped into her path. His badge flashed so fast she barely caught the letters, NSA. Miss Carter. A word. Serena didn't break stride. Not without a warrant. He matched her pace. "We're not here to arrest you. Yet. But your friend is becoming a national concern." She stopped. Cold. "He's not a threat." "To whom?" the agent asked. "The government he's exposing? The CEOs whose servers he's cracked? The military labs he's trespassed? He's holding the people who hurt him accountable. Isn't that what you do? Not when it breaks the world order." Serena narrowed her eyes. Maybe the world order deserved to be broken. The man didn't answer. He handed her a folder. Inside, satellite photos. Charts. Dozens of names, some Serena recognized, whistleblowers now gone off-grid. Others, she didn't. At the bottom of the file, a single phrase was underlined in red. Unity Protocol. What is this? That's what he's building. A decentralized, encrypted alliance of former assets, activists, and technologists. Your boy's not just making noise anymore. He's building a system the government can't touch. Serena closed the file. Good. Maybe someone should. Miss Carter, listen to me. If you don't bring him in, someone else will. And they won't be this polite. She went home in silence. That night, she decrypted Daniel's latest message. Just coordinates. Just time. She went. It was an abandoned monastery in the Catskills, hollowed out, repurposed. And inside, Daniel. He was waiting. She stepped into the circle of candlelight. Around them, young faces watched silently. Not followers. Peers. They're scared of you, Serena said softly. Daniel nodded. That means it's working. They'll come for you. I know. That's why I wanted to see you. One last time. She swallowed. What are you planning? He handed her a tablet. A new internet. Decentralized. Secure. Human first. No surveillance. No exploitation. Free to everyone. Serena blinked. That's not rebellion, Daniel. That's revolution. Good, he said. Because kindness alone doesn't fix broken systems. It just shows us what's worth building in their place. She hugged him then. Fiercely. The way only someone who had once fed him soup in a storm could. And when she pulled away, she placed something in his hand. A photograph. Of a diner. And a boy in a wheelchair, smiling beside a waitress with kind eyes. Don't forget where it started, she whispered. He looked at it for a long time. I won't. And then he was gone. The storm was coming. But for once, Serena didn't feel afraid. Because now she knew, the future didn't belong to the powerful. It belonged to the brave. 3 months later, they struck. It started as a cyber attack, quiet, surgical, untraceable. Major communication nodes across 5 federal agencies went dark within seconds. Backdoors that had been installed decades ago, dormant code Daniel and his network had activated from the inside. By the time the government realized what was happening, the Unity protocol had already launched its first public node. It was open source, powered by community-run servers, and immune to centralized control. The world didn't erupt into chaos. It paused. And then it began to change. Small towns started receiving encrypted digital tools to track local corruption. Whistleblowers posted evidence of illegal surveillance and corporate abuse to protected channels. Educators, doctors, scientists, people who had been silenced, suddenly had a platform they could trust. Daniel's movement didn't declare war. It declared transparency. But not everyone saw it that way. Serena knew it when the air around Holt Dynamics thickened. Raymond met her one morning with an expression she hadn't seen since the earliest days. They're coming for us, he said. Who? Everyone who's afraid they're losing control. Federal inquiries. Corporate boycotts. Stock manipulation. Even fake news campaigns accusing Holt Dynamics of domestic subversion. Serena stood her ground. Raymond, too. But it was Nora who delivered the biggest blow. Daniel's going public, she said one night. Full reveal. Identity, history, everything. He's going to live stream from the Alexandria archives. He's going to show them what they did to him, and everyone like him. Serena felt the earth shift beneath her feet. That could break the country. Or remake it, Nora said. Serena looked toward the window. Outside, thunder rolled. She reached for her phone. And typed. I'll stand with you. Even if the world doesn't. A single reply lit up her screen. Then let's rebuild it. The night of the broadcast arrived like a held breath. All eyes turned to the Alexandria archives, where centuries of truth and erasure had been stored, sealed, rewritten by those who believed history belonged only to victors. But tonight, history would speak for itself. Serena stood outside the perimeter, hood pulled low, earbuds in. She could hear the buzz of drones overhead, the soft murmurs of crowds gathering far beyond the cordon. Government agents stood watch, but not with rifles, yet. Not tonight. In the center of the building, behind a pane of armored glass, stood Daniel. He wasn't dressed in armor, or black, or rebellion. He wore a simple gray hoodie, his sleeves pushed up, his hands steady as he stepped to the old podium. The room was silent but for the soft hum of the stream. Then he spoke. "My name is Daniel Holt," he said. Pause. "I was never supposed to live. I was never supposed to remember. But I do. And now, you will too." One by one, screens around the world lit up. Images of children, like him, subjected to experiments under false rehabilitation. Documents. Names. Transactions. Medical charts. Legal immunity contracts signed by familiar officials. "This is not science," Daniel said. It was control. It was silence. But no more. He leaned closer. "They told us kindness was weakness. That survival required compliance. But a waitress in a diner once gave me soup, and a name, and a smile, and that moment did more to heal me than all the lies they sold in sterile labs." Serena watched, tears in her eyes. Behind Daniel, the names of whistleblowers appeared on the wall, projected like constellations. Not one. Hundreds. Protected now by the Unity Protocol. "We are not here to destroy," Daniel said. "We are here to remember. To repair. To rebuild." He ended the feed with a single line. "The future belongs to the brave." And the feed went dark. The world did not burn. It blinked. Paused. And then, it listened. In the weeks that followed, everything changed. Arrests were made. Investigations reopened. Politicians scrambled to distance themselves from the old order. Serena walked the halls of Holt Dynamics with quiet pride. Raymond, older now, humbled, had handed her full strategic control. Nora had stepped back from the shadows, helping guide the next generation of whistleblowers. The Carter Initiative became the global hub for civic innovation. And one day, long after the dust settled, Serena returned to the diner. The same cracked counter. The same smell of burnt coffee. She sat in the same booth where she once wiped soup from a boy's chin. A letter waited there. No name. Just a napkin folded twice. Inside. "Thank you for seeing me when the world didn't. Thank you for teaching me kindness before I ever learned resistance. I'm still building. Still fighting. Still remembering. D." Serena smiled. And for the first time in a long time, she felt at peace. Because she knew this wasn't the end. It was the beginning of a world built not on silence, but on truth, resilience, and the unstoppable power of kindness. 2 years later, in a sun-drenched community hall on the south side of Baltimore, children gathered around 3D printers and chalkboards covered in code. The room buzzed with laughter, learning, and the soft hum of a better future in motion. On the far wall, a mural stretched from floor to ceiling. It showed a waitress placing a sandwich in front of a boy in a wheelchair. Their eyes locked. A single act, frozen in time. At the bottom, the words. "Kindness is the blueprint." Serena stood nearby, hands in her pockets, watching the newest group of mentors guide students through their first robotics challenge. One of them, Alma, barely 20, with the swagger of a seasoned rebel, caught her eye and grinned. "We're not building machines," Alma said, "we're building mirrors. Ones that show them who they could be." Serena smiled. "That's the goal." Behind them, a small comm terminal pinged. One message. Encrypted. No signature. She opened it. "The system tried to erase us. We rewrote it. D. Serena looked out the window where the sun caught the city's edge and made everything golden. She whispered to herself, "We're just getting started."